Have you noticed how the harder you push for something with people, the more it seems to slip away? Push someone to change and they dig in. Force your opinion and they resist it. Try to grip an outcome too tightly and it squirms out of your hands. And then other times, you change someone's whole day without trying at all, just by being calm or kind or quietly yourself. Tonight, the sky closes the week with exactly this teaching. The moon is a slender waning crescent, August 9th, 2026. Only about 16% lit now, nearly dark, surrendering gently toward her renewal. And the sun sits in gate 7, the gate of the self and direction, in its fourth line, the line of leadership through influence rather than force. All week this gate has taught direction. Knowing your own way, listening, trusting your own road. Tonight it offers the gentlest piece of all. You don't have to push, seize, or convince to have an effect. Who you quietly are is influence enough. This is your moon letter for leading without forcing. Let's open it. Look up tonight, and she's a slender crescent, only about 16% lit, a thin curve of light, nearly emptied into the dark she's about to enter. And here is her most beautiful teaching, saved for last. She is surrendering, and in her surrender she is quietly, enormously influential. Think about it. This nearly dark moon isn't pushing on anything. She's not forcing the tides, not commanding the night, not straining to control a single thing. She's simply being what she is, a slender, gentle presence, letting go into her own renewal. And yet, even now, this quiet sliver still moves the oceans of the whole earth. Her influence was never about force. It's about presence, about being what she is. The moon has never once pushed the tide. She just is, faithfully, and the whole sea responds. That's the perfect image for tonight, because tonight is about influence without force. The crescent shows you that you don't have to strain, push, or seize to have an enormous effect. You can be soft, even nearly empty, even surrendering, and still move oceans, simply by being fully and quietly what you are. Her gentleness isn't the opposite of her power. Her gentleness is her power. The energy tonight is warmth that never forces. Leo's heart discovering that its softest form is also its strongest. This is the completion of Leo's whole journey, and maybe its most surprising turn. Leo can be a forceful energy. It can push, perform, insist, try to command the room by sheer warmth and will. But the deepest Leo, the Leo that has moved through the entire cycle, seen, humbled, reflective, generous, released, arrives at a gentler and far more powerful truth. It doesn't have to force its light on anyone. The most magnetic warmth isn't the kind that pushes toward you. It's the kind you're simply drawn to. Think of the people whose presence changes you. They rarely force anything. They're just so fully, quietly themselves that being near them affects you. That's the influence Leo grows into by the end. Not the heat that pushes, but the warmth that draws. Not commanding, but magnetic. So tonight's energy invites your Leo heart to stop pushing its light and simply let it shine, trusting that who you quietly are, fully and unforcefully, is the most influential thing about you. You don't have to force your warmth on the world. You just have to be it and let the world be drawn. In human design, the sun is in gate 7, the gate of the self and of direction, and tonight it's the fourth line, which are associated with influence, and sometimes called leadership through the back door. This is the gate's final teaching before it completes, and it's the most refined understanding of what direction and leadership actually are here. Because gate 7, remember, never leads by force, and the fourth line makes that its whole art. This is the leader who influences through relationship, through connection, through simply being trusted and drawn to, rather than through position or pressure. It doesn't seize the front or demand to be followed. It offers, it waits to be invited. It affects others through who it is rather than what it imposes. R.A. spoke of this as leadership that comes through the back door, not grabbing power, but being quietly given it because people are naturally drawn to your influence. There's a deep wisdom in it, the recognition that the most lasting influence is never forced. What you push on people, they resist. What you offer and embody and let them come to freely actually changes them. The shadow of this line is the temptation to manipulate, to work the relationships for control. But its gift is the purest form of influence there is, affecting the world simply by being genuinely, trustworthily yourself, and letting people be drawn rather than driven. So Gate 7, fourth line, completes the week's whole teaching tonight, and it completes it gently. You lead, you guide, you influence not by forcing anything, but by quietly, faithfully being who you are. So let's understand why the softest influence is actually the strongest, why gentleness, offering, and presence tend to move people far more than force ever does. The first reason is almost a law of human nature. What's forced is resisted. What's offered is received. Push on a person, pressure them, insist, try to make them change or agree or comply, and something in them pushes back automatically, almost involuntarily. We're built to resist force. It triggers our defenses. But offer the same thing freely, without pressure, and leave people genuinely free to take it or not, and suddenly they can actually receive it. The very same truth lands completely differently depending on whether it's forced or offered. Force creates resistance. Offering creates openness. The second reason follows. People change toward those they're drawn to, not those who push them. Think about who's actually changed you in life. Almost never the people who pressured, lectured, or tried to force you. Almost always the people you were drawn to, whose way of being made you want to grow, whose presence quietly pulled something better out of you. Real, lasting change happens by attraction, not coercion. We become like what we admire and are drawn toward, not what we're pushed by. So if you want to actually influence someone for the good, being someone worth being drawn to does infinitely more than any amount of pushing. The third reason is humbling and freeing. Who you are influences more quietly and more powerfully than what you say. We overestimate our words and underestimate our being. But people are affected far more by who we actually are, our presence, our calm, or our tension, our integrity, the energy we carry, than by anything we tell them. You've felt this. Someone's mere presence steadies or unsettles a room before they say a word. Which means your deepest influence isn't in your arguments or your advice, it's in who you're being. And that's freeing because it means you don't have to force anything with words, you just have to tend to who you are. And the fourth reason is the one worth remembering whenever you're tempted to push. Forcing an outcome often costs you the very thing you wanted. This is the quiet tragedy of force. You push someone to love you, and the pushing erodes the love. You force agreement and win compliance but lose the real connection. You grip an outcome so tightly that you strangle it. So often, the forcing itself destroys the thing we were forcing toward, because the thing we actually wanted, underneath, was something freely given. Real love, real trust, real change, real connection. And those can only ever be given freely. The moment you force them, you've lost them. Which is why the gentle hand, in the end, holds far more than the clenched fist ever could. So if the softest influence is the strongest, the practical question is, how do you actually lead and affect others without forcing anything? Here are 4 honest practices. First, offer your truth, then release the need for it to land. You're still allowed to speak, to share your view, to offer guidance. Leading without forcing doesn't mean staying silent. The shift is in what you do after you've offered. Instead of pushing to make sure it lands, insisting until they agree, gripping the outcome, you offer it cleanly and then let go. You say your piece and release your attachment to how they receive it. That release is the whole difference between offering and forcing. Give the gift, then open your hand and let them do with it what they will. Second, let your example do the persuading for you. The most powerful argument you'll ever make isn't spoken, it's lived. Rather than trying to convince people to be more patient, more kind, more free, more whole, simply be those things visibly in your own life. Your example persuades at a level words never reach. People see something real working in you, and they're drawn toward it far more than they'd ever be argued into it. Live the thing, and let the living be the influence. Third, make room for people to arrive on their own. One of the gentlest and most respectful forms of influence is simply creating space, planting a seed, offering a perspective, and then giving people the room and time to come to it themselves. People hold much more tightly to what they discover on their own than to what's handed to them under pressure. So instead of dragging someone to your conclusion, make room for them to walk there in their own time. Trust the seed. Trust their process. The arriving on their own is what makes it truly theirs. And fourth, the principle under all of it: influence by attraction, not by pressure. This is the whole art in 4 words. Whenever you feel yourself starting to push, to pressure, insist, force, grip, pause, and ask instead, how could I make this something people are drawn toward rather than pushed into? Attraction, not pressure. Become worth being drawn to. Offer rather than impose. Embody rather than insist. It's slower than force sometimes, but it's the only kind of influence that lasts, and the only kind that doesn't cost you the very connection you were hoping to build. So, how do you actually rest into quiet influence tonight, as the whole cycle closes? 3 gentle moves. First, let go of one thing you've been trying to force. Somewhere in your life right now, you're probably pushing, trying to force an outcome, pressure a person, grip a result, make something happen by sheer will. Bring one such thing to mind. And tonight, as the moon empties into the dark, practice setting it down. Not giving up on it, necessarily, just releasing your grip, stopping the pushing, letting it breathe. Notice how much energy the forcing was costing you, and how it feels to simply stop straining against it. Often, the moment you stop forcing, things you couldn't move by pushing begin to shift on their own. Second, trust that being it quietly is enough. Whatever you've been trying to force into others, more peace, more understanding, more change, more love, turn it inward instead, and simply become it. Trust that being calm, being kind, being whole, being genuinely yourself, quietly and without announcement, is not a lesser strategy than pushing. It's the deeper one. Trust that who you are, being fully what it is influence enough, that you don't have to strain to have an effect, you just have to be. Third, offer. Don't impose, then rest. If there's something you still want to give, say, or share, offer it gently, and then genuinely rest. Do your part, plant the seed, live the example, make the space, and then let go of the rest. The outcome is not yours to force, it's yours to release. And here, at the close of the whole cycle, resting is exactly right. The moon is nearly dark, the waning arc is complete, the new moon and its fresh beginning are only days away. So let yourself rest into quiet influence tonight, the gentle, faithful presence that moves oceans without ever pushing them. And here's the gift hidden in all of it. When you stop forcing and start simply being, everything gets lighter. You stop exhausting yourself against people and outcomes you were never meant to control. You trust your presence to do the quiet work it does. And you discover the deep relief of the gentlest truth there is, that you don't have to push to matter. Who you quietly are was always enough. Here is your ritual for leading without forcing, the closing ritual of the whole cycle, as the moon empties toward renewal. When the evening settles, step outside and find her. The slender waning crescent, only about 16% lit, nearly dark, surrendering gently into the shadow she's about to enter. And remember that even this quiet sliver, forcing nothing, still moves the oceans of the whole earth simply by being what it is. Let her teach you that gentleness is not the opposite of power. Then, standing in her soft light, bring to mind one thing you've been trying to force, an outcome you're pushing, a person you're pressuring, a result you're gripping too tight. see it clearly. And then, as the moon lets go of her light, let go of yours. Set the forcing down. Feel yourself release the grip. Stop the straining. Let the thing breathe. Say quietly, I don't have to push this. I can offer, and then rest. Next, choose instead to influence it by being. Whatever you were trying to force into the situation, patience, peace, change, love, turn it inward and simply become it, trusting that being it quietly is enough. And finally, rest. Let the whole cycle close soft. You've walked the full waning arc. You've learned what to share and what to keep, how to wait, how to let go, how to lead yourself, how to listen, how to trust your own way, and now, how to influence without forcing. Let all of it settle. Let the emptying moon carry the pushing away into the dark, and rest into the quiet, gentle, faithful presence you are, trusting that it moves more than all your forcing ever could. The cycle is complete. The new moon is coming, and you can meet it softly, as someone who has learned that who you quietly are was always influence enough. So, let this be the letter you keep from tonight, and from this whole cycle. You don't have to push to have an effect. Who you quietly are is influence enough. The nearly dark crescent forces nothing, yet still moves the oceans of the earth simply by being faithfully what she is. Your influence works the same way. What's forced is resisted. What's offered is received. People change toward those they're drawn to, not those who push them. And who you are affects the world more quietly and more deeply than anything you could say. So offer your truth, and then release the need for it to land. Let your example do the persuading. Make room for people to arrive on their own. Influenced by attraction, not by pressure. And wherever you've been straining and forcing, set it down tonight, and trust that being it quietly is enough. The gentle hand holds more than the clenched fist ever could. As this cycle closes and the moon empties toward a new beginning, rest into that gentleness, the quiet, faithful presence that moves oceans without ever pushing them. You don't have to force anything to matter. Who you quietly are was always enough. Thank you for leading without forcing tonight, and for letting this whole waning cycle come gently to a close with you. A new letter from the sky arrives every single day, and the moon is nearly dark now. In just a few nights, she'll empty completely, and a fresh new moon will rise. A blank page, a new beginning, a place to start again with open hands. Until then, stop pushing, trust your quiet presence, and walk gently.